Alright, kids, I have what is literally no time at all to get my UFC 156 Aldo versus Edgar picks in. So I'll try to do this as quickly as I can. I've got so much stuff going on, you don't even want to know. Okay, main event Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar. This is a very interesting matchup stylistically. It's kind of like the whole immovable object meets the unstoppable force kind of thing. Jose Aldo, one of the best strikers in MMA history, has did this look pretty much undefeatable for the last 5 years. He's also a pretty good wrestler. I think nobody really ever talks about that. And Frankie Edgar, as we all know, is just that hummingbird that's impossible to slow down. You can punch him 9,000 times, drop him on his head, and he comes back in the next round. He's 8 times stronger. I think he has the same healing factor Wolverine has, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, this is really a super fight in every sense of the word. It really should be one of the best fights in UFC history, and if it's not, I'm going to be horribly, horribly upset. It should be extremely competitive. Probable fight of the year candidate, which means, of course, it's going to be over in one round. Now that I say that. Stylistically, it's an interesting fight. Like I said, Frankie Edgar, he's probably the better defensive fighter, but I don't think anybody's going to argue that Aldo, pardon me, I always confuse featherweight champions with the names of limited appeal supermarkets. I think Aldo is a better offensive fighter, and I think even though Aldo's had a pretty long layoff and Edgar uh, not as long of a layoff, I think Aldo will probably win this fight with one caveat. I think it's going to be extremely, extremely close. In fact, I think this might be one of those fights where you have some controversy going on. Even so, I just think Aldo, he's a mildly better fighter, and I think his striking gives him an advantage to kind of keep Edgar at bay, especially after what we saw with the Henderson fights. So I think Aldo wins this one by split decision. Co-main event: Rashad Evans versus Antonio Rogero Nogueira. Evans hasn't fought in almost a year. Nogueira's been off for a pretty long time too. Um, yeah, I think as good of a striker Nogueira is, Rashad's a way better fighter in every other category. Better wrestler, better defense. Maybe submissions I might give to Nogueira in hindsight, but I think Evans wins this fight, and he wins it pretty easily. 3 round unanimous decision for Evans, who wins in his big return fight. I've got a heavyweight match coming up next. Alistair Overeem, pending they actually find human DNA in his next urine sample, will be taking on Antonio Bigfoot Silva. And this is kind of the fight that I think could really go either way. I either see Alistair Overeem coming in here and basically doing what Alistair Overeem does and just demolishing Bigfoot in one round, or I see Overeem just gassing and Bigfoot gassing and having ourselves a repeat of that one Overeem Verdum fight from a couple of years back, where it's just a lay and pray spectacular. Hopefully that's not the case. I think Overeem, even though he's been out for a year, he's probably been training. What else is he going to be doing for the last year? Tough call, but I have to go with the conservative pick and say Overeem will win this one by 3 round unanimous decision. Now, coming up next is a fight that I did not know was happening until fairly recently, and as soon as I heard, I just started freaking out. We got Jon Fitch taking on Demian Maia. Whoever wins this fight is going to be a top 5 welterweight, no problem. They're up there with Condit and Hendricks and McDonald, as far as I'm concerned. This is just such an interesting matchup because Jon Fitch, as we all know, is the most wrestly guy in the history of fighting. This dude, he just takes you down. Demian Maia, he's an excellent striker, and he's also got the jiu-jitsu. So I'm watching this fight, and I'm thinking, oh boy, what happens here? Fitch try to do some striking. Will he risk going for the takedowns? What will Maia throw at him? It's a very, very interesting style clash there. If I had to take a pick, though, I think it'd be a really good fight. It might even be fight of the night. You never know. Aldo Edgar could end up being horrible. It's unlikely, but it's possible. But I think this would be a really good fight too. And I think Jon Fitch wins by unanimous decision. Okay, flyweight fight: Joseph Benavidez versus Ian McCall. The winner of this fight will probably get the next crack at Demetrius Johnson. Yeah, I like Benavidez. I think he'll win this one by decision. Yeah, it's UFC 156, not the living decision. Okay, preliminary stuff. Gleason DeBow taking on Evan Dunham. Remember back in the day when like Evan Dunham was going to be like the next big thing in the lightweight division? And then we put down our crack pops and realized he wasn't. I think DeBow wins this one by third round submission. We got a really bizarre looking fight here. We got Tyrone Woodley taking on Jay Hiron on FX, which is very strike forcey up in here. On this fight, I think, I don't know. Let's go with Tyrone Woodley by decision because, I'm all about, the conservative picks. Lightweight fight, Jacob Volkman taking on Bobby Green. I like Volkman, second round knockout. Another lightweight fight, we got Isaac Valley Flag. Yeah, lots of strike force fighters here tonight. Taking on Bees Edwards. And I'm going to go with, Flag by first round submission. That's got a feeling. Bantamweight on Facebook fight. We got two of them to round out the show, or actually to begin the show. We got Chico Camus taking on Dustin Kimura. Come on, that's not his real name, y'all. Come on, we're getting punked. Well, with a name like Kimura, you better have some awesome submission skills, and I think that means only one thing can happen. He's gonna get knocked out in the first round. Go Camus, lock of the year. And our Kurt Junker. Why can I not say that? Curtain jerker. It's just a term that I'll never really seem to get down. We got Edwin Figueroa taking on Francisco Rivera, and I like Figueroa by second round submission. So there you go. On paper, it's looking to be one of the best cards we've had in a long time. And if it doesn't deliver at least one or two really great matches, I'm going to be horribly disappointed. So there you go. That's my feeble picks. If you got yours, feel free to chime in. And yeah, see you in the seats this Saturday.